Good riddance, Caesar.
Howdy. Something I can help you with? Sure do. Came from the hub on account of the Thaler Act. Farming's decent work, but the whole thing's a bum deal. Something the politicians back in Shady Sands came up with. They pay us to move here and farm the land. They even protect the fields. Bad soil and ration water. It's to be expected around here. But the rationing's off. Worst part is NCR won't admit it. Pretty hard to meet their crop quotas with 20% less water than we're supposed to be getting. Not that OSI cares about any of this. They're part of the deal, the Thaler Act. We work the fields while they protect the crops and the water. A lot of folks come to New Vegas and lose everything in free side of the Strip. They get hungry, desperate, and try to take our hard work. Much as I sympathize, their theft would put me in a bad spot. I got a crop quota to meet. Everything I can. Farmers out here don't have the luxury of being picky. I get by mostly on maize and tobacco. Yes. He said he was looking into the water shortage, but I haven't heard back from him. Got the feeling he wasn't here in any official way. White was talking to me about computer stuff and water delivery schedules through the pipes, but I'm just a farmer. Tech stuff is beyond me. The last person I saw him talking to was Lieutenant Romanowski. Romanowski's around here somewhere. Sorry I couldn't be more helpful. Adios.
A platoon. What is it? The Office of Science and Industry has carefully calculated the amount of water needed for these crops. The whole thing is handled by computer. Besides, most of these crops look fine to me. If the farmers can't handle the job, they shouldn't have signed up in the first place. If there really is a problem, they can take it up with Lieutenant Boyd at McCarran. Farming isn't my department. What is it? Corporal White is currently solving the mystery of the Great Water Shortage. Tried to convince me he had proof even. I didn't buy any of it. He went over to West Side to talk to Tom Anderson. Anderson's a follower of the apocalypse. Helps the people in West Side grow crops or something. I really don't see the connection. They're based out of the old fort in Freeside. They supposedly help. They know stuff about tech and medicine and usually help out anybody who asks. Can't say. Haven't seen them. Serves him right if the NCR declares a Maywall. He's a glory hound, always looking for a way to get promoted to Ranger. Thinks he's too good to be a regular trooper like the rest of us. Carry on. Wish I could have been there to see Caesar die. What an asshole.
That tower on the strip, the one you can see for miles, I hear it.
Sticking around for the attractions?
Tom Anderson, can I help you? I'm with the followers of the apocalypse, and I help the locals in Westside grow crops. Unlike the NCR, the followers don't expect anything back. The soil and the hot, dry environment don't make it easy, but we get by all right. We've even got our own food store, the Westside Co-op, complete with basic refrigeration. The co-op is comprised of Westside locals and run by Clayton Antonine. They produce all of their own food and share the profits of the co-op. I don't go looking for fights with them, but they don't have the best interests of people in mind. Certainly not locals. The bottom line for NCR is productivity and growth. Politicians back in Shady Sands are completely detached from the people actually living here. No one by that name has come here, I'm afraid. You must have heard wrong. You can ask around if you like. They'll all tell you the same thing. Fair enough. Since you seem to have pieced it together, I won't insult you by denying it any further. I killed Corporal White to protect Westside self-reliance. It was rash, and I regret it now. We don't have money to pay for the water, so I rigged the pump station to divert water to the local cisterns from time to time. If the NCR thinks White was killed by, say, members from the Scorpions gang, it may be enough for them to close the case. Thank you. What happened was regrettable, but I'll make sure it never happens again.
Interesting way of handling things. Very sub rosa. I don't know if the Scorpions deserve to be wiped out for something they didn't do, but that's one less problem Westside has to deal with.
Things are getting stranger every day.
You got some... You're back. Don't tell me. He married the hooker. Shit. That's why you don't go wandering off looking for some call girl on the strip without telling somebody first. Anderson. Is that the followers of the apocalypse, Anderson? Well, that's a shame about Corporal White. He knew better than that. But you! I owe you for this. You saved me a lot of work. And I'm sure Corporal White's family will be grateful to at least get some closure. The MPs keep a bunch of junk around that's confiscated off of people who decide to screw with us. I haven't really sorted through it, but go ahead and see if there's anything you can use in there. We keep it in a trunk across the hall, by the prison cells.
Nelson's back in our hands. Hope we can defend it this time.
What's up? It could... All right.
You again? I hear you took care of Motor Runner. I could have handled that on my own.
Hello. Hey, stranger. Carlitos, huh? Yeah, I do. Try the diner.
Hey. Hey, do you mind? I'm trying to drink myself to the ground right here. Scram. What did you say? I mean, Joanna sent you. Please, tell me, is she all right? When did you see her? What does she have to say? Question. Then she has to know. I'm ready to help her escape once and for all. I'm not even scared of Caccino and all those fuckers. Joanna and I are dead anyway if we don't get the hell out of here. Deal. Come back with... You know, straightening up bets, Gamora. Hey, you're smart. Okay, it was like finding diamonds in your vodka and showgirls under your card table. You want it, Gamora has it. It was heaven, until you find that all the glitter is made of broken dreams and all the praise hides a knife pointing at your ribs. Now, if you have to ask, you probably don't know shit about who you're dealing with, huh? Listen up. Watch out for Caccino, that's all I'm saying. It was heaven, until you find that all the... Alright. If you're smart, the strip's all flash and noise. If not, luck's your dame, your hot date until you find she's a cheap whore high on jet. Ha! There's only one important player in town, and that's Mr. House. Everyone keeps clean around him. The families, the barons, fuck, even the NCR. My recommendation? Get the fuck out of town while you can. It'll leave you hanging in the wind, or worse, add your body to a... Alright, about what do you want to know? This place has come a long way. Sarah takes care of it, and she lets me stay, for now. Because Mr. House ripped this place to shreds before filling it with concrete. Hey, I was untouchable once, but Mr. House... What doesn't she do, huh? Sarah makes this hole look like a palace. Damn nice pair of gams on her, too. She never wa...
One of the ranger vets looked at me, and I just about surrendered.
Hi! This is big, huh? A very big moment. Here goes. I'll just take that platinum chip off your hands. Thanks. Wish me luck. Drawing board. Wow. Mr. House had quite a setup here. I can access his databanks and view telemetry on every Securitron on the network. Wait. So... that's what the platinum chip does. Interesting. Mr. House had a whole demonstration planned for you. Just head downstairs to the lowest level to check it out. You'll see. Step closer to the demonstration area, please. Okay, so you're familiar with Securitrons by now, obviously. I mean, some of your best friends are Securitrons, right? Our titanium alloy housing does a good job of protecting them. Our left arm contains an X-25 Gatling laser. Quite sensitive on target range. That looks like fun. And for close-range suppression and crowd control. All of this is old hat, right? Here is where it gets interesting. Turns out that those are our secondary weapons. All this time we've been running the Mark I operating system, which doesn't have drivers for our primary weapons. Imagine! Now watch this. I'm downloading the Mark II OS to all Securitrons on the network. Makes quite a difference. With the M235 missile launcher, we can engage ground and air and a rapid-fire The OS upgrade also includes drivers for our onboard auto repair systems. Just try to hurt us now. Altogether, this software upgrade confers a 235% increase in combat effectiveness per unit. New Vegas finally has soldiers worthy of protecting it. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. You can come back up and see me or be on your way. I know you're a busy person. An entire army of upgraded security. Maybe they'll be devoured by giant scorpions. All sorts of things can happen to them out there. That's 2 down, 3 to go. Come.
Enjoy your time in Vegas.
lead the way. I need to talk to you about something, if you have a minute.
Any day now? Caesar's going to try to march across Hoover Dam and kick NCR out of the Mojave. We're getting caught up in something important out here. Hell, after how you handled Benny, you're practically right in the middle of all this. I know I'm just along for the ride, but it's made me think about the past and how I might be able to help out. I wasn't always with the followers, or with the NCR. My late father was an officer in a group called the Enclave, a remnant of America's pre-war government. Memories being short around here, not a whole lot of people remember them. But they did bad things. Terrorized communities, kidnapped people. Eventually someone stopped them. I was born a few years later at a military base on the coast, a place called Navarro. After the Enclave's command structure fell apart, it was only a matter of time before Navarro was overrun by NCR forces. My mother and I left with some of the troopers from my father's old unit, the same people I've kept in contact with over the years. Anyone who didn't get out was killed by the NCR. Even some of the ones who escaped were eventually hunted down by the Brotherhood of Steel. A lot of different places. I only know what I was told. Some of them were cut down by the NCR and the Brotherhood. Some of them went east. My mother never told me what happened to my father, but she and I went south with some others and integrated into the NCR. When the NCR learned that Enclave personnel had integrated, we kept moving to the fringes. It's one of the reasons why I wound up out here. The Enclave did a lot of bad things, but there were good people at Navarro. Good people with a lot of experience. Not many of them are alive anymore, but I think they can make a difference in the fight against Caesar. Great. I'd like you to talk to the old-timers, the remnants. I don't think I can convince them by myself. To them, I'm still a kid. But you're a big part of what's happening out here. When you talk to them, they'll understand how important this all is. I've kept in contact with them over the years, so I know where you can find them. But I doubt they'll open up to you unless I come along. I know I'm not always the most serious guy around, but this means a lot to me. Thanks.
Looks like I forgot to lock the doors again. If you're with the NCR, get out. This place is mine, and I'm not leaving. Been a while, Arcade. So, what's the point of all this? Can't find any younger mercenaries? You can thank the NCR for that one. Wait, this isn't on behalf of the NCR, is it? Yeah, it does. There's not a chance you'll find me helping the NCR in any way. They've caused me too much grief. All right, then. I'll show up at this gathering of yours. Arcade might have mentioned there's a passphrase needed to get into the bunker. My part is remember.
Moreno took the fall of the Enclave hard. He never questioned his orders, never questioned the legitimacy of what the Enclave was doing. To him, it was all one unbroken chain, from Washington to Richardson. When we left Navarro, I remember looking up at Moreno. He said, "Kiss America goodbye, boys." When we left the Enclave behind, the love in him burned itself out. Now there's just a bitter old man left. I suppose you're right. When you're part of something for that long, maybe it's impossible. Moreno may be a stubborn son of a bitch, but at least he's loyal.
Wish I could have been there to see Caesar die. What an asshole.
Well, it's about damn time. What took you... Oh. I've been in the Reaper's shadow for a long time now, and I thought he'd finally showed up to collect. He's just mocking me now. Thought I recognized the fellow with you. So what's this reunion all about, then? Well, now there's an interesting idea. Do a bit of good before we're all dead and forgotten. You can count me in. Oh, and in case Arcade forgot to mention it, there's a 5-word passphrase needed to get into the bunker. My word is old. Appropriate, huh?
If I had to pick anyone who didn't belong in the Enclave, it would definitely be Johnson. He hated what the Enclave was doing. Day to day, week to week, he would question orders, subvert mission objectives, do anything he could to serve without serving. It's amazing he was never court-martialed. He always had good things to say about my father. Said I was like him in a lot of ways. I wish I knew. I wonder if he would. It's pointless, I know, but sometimes I wonder what he wanted me to be. Maybe being a doctor in the middle of Nevada wasn't exactly what he had in mind for his little boy.
What brings you around this time? What do you... Ha! I'm not saying. It's part of my mystique, after all. The truth of it is that I did cut out a raider's heart, but only took a bite to mess with his buddies. They had me surrounded, and I went with the first thing that came to mind. Some ran, and the rest were startled just long enough. Sure do. Had a wife for a while. Tribal girl, really pretty eyes. But she's been gone a long time now.
Your travels been going all right? Told you everything about us, did he? Well, it's been a while since I've had my hands on the controls of a vertibird. There's a chance I could crash us in the middle of Lake Mead. That place seems to attract aircraft for some reason. But if I get one more chance to fly, count me in. I'll be there. My part of the passphrase is dear. I was never happier than when I was in the cockpit. I was able to go just about anywhere and everywhere, limited only by the fuel I could carry. There were more than a few missions where I took the scenic route home just so I could stay in the air. Caught hell for it every time, but worth it. Some of the things we did were questionable, I know. That's just how it was back then. Figure I've done enough good to make up for any sins, anyhow.
Since my mother died, Daisy's been the only woman in my life. She was the only other woman close to my father, too. She flew him out on over a dozen missions, including his last. I've always been close to Daisy. There have been some good men along the way, but lovers make poor confidants. Daisy never had children of her own, so she was always there to listen. Being in the Enclave didn't mean much to her. She just loved to fly. It broke her heart to be grounded. As screwed up as it sounds, at least she was a part of something. Granted, it was something admittedly pretty bad, but it was something. If you spent the first half of your life flying Enclave troopers in a vertibird, I suppose picking over pre-war rocket parts doesn't quite compare.
Sticking around for the attractions? Hello, Arcade. Making some new friends, are you? Why the need for a bunch of old war horses like us? Swooping in on a vertibird, guns blazing? Haven't done that in years, but all right, I'm in. None of this means a thing if the rest of the group doesn't show up, though. Oh, and you'll need my part of the passphrase to get into the bunker. Navarro.
Judah Krieger is the glue that's kept us all together over the years, and with good reason. Anyone who can command Moreno and Johnson in the same unit without somebody getting fragged is one hell of a leader. Krieger was polite and kind, but never warm. He always did his best to make me feel welcome in the group. I think he did it out of a sense of loyalty to my father. Loyalty means a lot to Judah. Not loyalty to the Enclave, or even the ideals they fought for, but to the people who served with him. Sometimes I wonder how much of my father they see in me. They went through a lot together, but my family went through it too. I'm glad they've watched out for me all these years. Maybe someday I can return the favor.
Dr. Henry's pretty smart.
Welcome to Jacobstown, human. You're free to walk around. Just don't stare at the Nightkin. They don't like people looking at them. And if you're NCR, keep it to yourself. They're not popular around here. Such as... was a resort pre-war. I renamed it to Jacobstown after an old friend. Died a long time ago. I figured us mutants needed a place to call our own. Town's far enough away from humans so they don't bother us much. One of these days I'm hoping we can trade with the rest of the wasteland. No more fighting, just get along. Was part of a super mutant army. Ran a town, walked the wasteland with a tribal. Now I'm here. Long story, so here's the short version. The Master created the super mutants and Nightkin. The Master thought he could unify everyone. No more differences, no more war. Didn't end well. Town was Broken Hills. Bunch of super mutants, humans, and ghouls all living together peacefully. Well, most of the time. We were looking for a Gek to save the village of Arroyo. Eventually, we did. Nuked an oil rig in the process. We went separate ways after that. I went east into the Rockies, looking for other mutants like myself. Don't know what happened to my friend. I got a feeling it turned out all right in the end. A lot of bad blood between super mutants and humans. Goes back years. Some here still got the scars and memories. Me? I don't really have a problem with the NCR. Set their sights a little too high sometimes, but they try. Legion? That's another story. Caesar thinks he can change human nature. Most of the Legion is following Caesar, not Caesar's ideals. When he's gone, it'll crumble. Might not happen overnight. Might take a few decades, but it'll happen. Basic human nature. Greed, ambition, jealousy. We'll see to it. They expand. Fast. If you got land they want, they'll take it. Eventually. Did it out west, they'll do it here. They keep rolling over people. They'll regret it. That's how revolutions start. Seen them grow from a single town, Shady Sands, into the Republic. They've done good for the most part. Not really. Heard it's a paradise in the wasteland. Never been there myself. Doubt they'd let a mutant in. Amazes me people would come from all over the waste to throw away everything they've got in that town. All right. Nightkin suffers schizophrenia from the stealth boys they're always using. One of the reasons I settled Jacobstown was so they could be cured. While they're in town, the Nightkin aren't allowed to have stealth boys, so their craziness doesn't get worse. Trouble is, the Nightkin don't like being visible either. They don't take being exposed too well. Same as any civilized town. Don't start any fights or steal anything. We'll treat you fair. Not a lot to ask. See you.
Another human. One was enough.
I assume this is about something important. You must have something important in mind. I'm willing to go to this little... Help me get my research to a stage where I can hand it over to my assistant, Calamity, and then ask me about this again. The Nightkin have varying degrees of mental instability due to... I'm currently investigating the local Night Stalker population. since they seem to have developed a natural stealth field. I've also gotten my hands on a working Stealth Boy Mark II prototype, but that experiment is riskier. I'm not convinced that the Night Stalker mutation is a natural one, and I need someone to investigate their lair for proof. Some of the super mutants have looked around as well, but they've come back empty-handed. Perhaps a pair of fresh eyes will have better luck. Lily might be interested in coming with you. She's lost a few of her bighorners to Night Stalker attacks, and would enjoy a little revenge. I've compared the brain chemistry of a Nightkin to one of the local Night Stalkers we killed. They both Now, I'm not claiming that Night Stalkers are running around wearing stealth. The stealth field has been modulated to use less power and thus last longer, but for some reason it has pronounced negative effects on the user. However, these pronounced effects will allow me to pinpoint exactly what part. Unfortunately, I'll need to run the test on a... It's possible, but I've yet to see any hard evidence or hear of any case. Its negative effects are more pronounced on Nightkin. Because Marcus asked me to, and because it's a reason for me to get up in the morning. Yes, specializing in neuroscience, both human and canine. Of course, this lab is nothing compared to what I have. Cyberdogs and the like. Yes, but the leadership and I didn't see eye to eye, so I left. It was the right decision. I prefer the solitude.